Good morning, students, and once again welcome to the class of number theory. In the previous two videos, we have proved several theorems, several properties, several results related to Faraday fractions, and it is a continuation of those two lectures, those two videos. So let us have some more problems, some more theorems related to Faraday fractions. So let us see what the first theorem we are going to prove today. First write down the statement and then we'll move on to the proof. If x is real and irrational, then there exist infinitely many rational numbers a upon b such that mod of x minus a upon b is less than or equal to 1 upon b square. This result we require to prove, and we will use a theorem that is being used in the previous video, and then we will continue from there. So let us move on to the proof. Let x be an irrational number. Let x be an irrational number. In the previous video, we have seen that for every irrational number x, there is always a rational number a upon b such that mod of x minus a upon b is less than or equal to 1 upon b n plus 1. So that result we are going to use here. So therefore, there exists a rational number a upon b such that mod of x minus a upon b is less than or equal to 1 upon b n plus 1. Such that 0 is less than or equal to b is less than, 0 is less than b is less than or equal to n, if I am right. So b is less than or equal to n means b is strictly less than n plus 1, and by taking reciprocal, 1 upon b is greater than 1 upon n plus 1. So 1 upon n plus 1 is less than 1 upon b, and that I am going to use here. 1 upon b, and this 1 upon n plus 1 is also less than 1 upon b. So 1 upon b into 1 upon b is going to be less than 1 upon b square. So that means we have proved that there exist rational numbers satisfying mod x minus a upon b is less than or equal to 1 upon b square. But that is not the theorem complete. Actually, we want to show that there are infinitely many such rational numbers. Here we have just find one. It may be finite, may be infinite numbers. We have to show that such rational numbers are infinitely many. On the contrary, we suppose that there are only finitely many a upon b satisfying this inequality. So let if possible such rational numbers a upon b, such rational numbers a upon b be finite in number. That means this set a upon b, where a and b are natural numbers and a b satisfy this inequality, that mod of x minus a upon b is less than or equal to 1 upon b square. This set is finite. And if this set is finite, a upon b set is finite, that clearly means the set mod x minus a upon b, where a and b are rational numbers, natural numbers, is also finite. Is also finite. This is also a finite set because x is fixed and a upon b are finite numbers, so these numbers are also finite. If the numbers are finitely many, only finite, then you can choose minimum among those. So let x minus a1 upon b1 be minimum, yeah, or you can say smallest member of, name this set as S. So member of S. This is the smallest member of S. In fact, mod. So this is the smallest member of S. If it is the smallest member of S, then it is less than or equal to rest of the members of the set S. So this means your mod x minus a1 upon b1 is less than or equal to mod of x minus a upon b for rest of the numbers of the set. But rest of the numbers of the set satisfies this, or in fact you can say satisfy this, is less than or equal to, is strictly less than 1 upon bn plus 1, or you can say less than or equal to. On the other hand, this x is irrational, this a1 upon b1 is rational. Difference of a rational and an irrational numbers cannot be 0. So this number is not 0, and we are having mod also, absolute value. That means this is a positive number. This is a positive number, and your sequence 1 upon n, this sequence is monotonically decreasing. So you can choose n to be sufficiently large such that your 1 upon n plus 1 is less than this number. This is irrational, this is rational, so they cannot be equal also. They cannot be equal also. And since it is positive and this is a monotonically decreasing sequence, you can find sufficiently large n such that your 1 upon n plus 1 is less than this number. And here 1 upon b, because b is a natural number, so b is definitely greater than or equal to 1, so that means 1 upon b is less than 1, less than or equal to 1. So you can say this is less than or equal to 1 upon n plus 1. Here I have used the fact that 1 upon b is less than or equal to 1. Overall, if you see what you are having, that 1 upon n plus 1 is strictly less than 1 upon n plus 1, which is absurd, which is not possible, which is a contradiction. And this contradiction we have obtained. Why? Because our supposition was wrong that such rational numbers are finite in number. So there are infinitely many rational numbers that will satisfy this inequality, mod of x minus a upon b is less than or equal to 1 upon b square. The same concept, the same thing we will use in Hurwitz's theorem also, which may be one of the theorems today. And if Hurwitz's theorem will be a theorem of today, then it will be last lecture on paraffraction. So I'll try to finish this chapter today. One more theorem is required before we move on to the Hurwitz's theorem, because it will be used once again in Hurwitz's theorem. What it is, write down. So this is a theorem, or you can take it as a lemma for the Hurwitz's theorem. If x, y are positive integers, then both the inequalities, what both inequalities are, 1 upon xy is greater than or equal to 1 upon root 5, 1 upon x square plus 1 upon y square, and 1 upon y, x plus y greater than or equal to 1 upon root 5, 1 upon root 5, 1 upon y square plus 1 upon x plus y square. Both these inequalities cannot hold simultaneously. Cannot hold simultaneously. So this is a lemma which will be used while we'll move on to Hurwitz's theorem, which is a very important theorem from point of view of examinations and even for research also. So these two inequalities cannot hold simultaneously. This is what we want to prove. So let on the contrary, that means suppose if possible that these two are holding simultaneously. If these two inequalities are holding simultaneously, that means these two results are true. So I am writing proof directly from here, because what I want in the starting, that these two are holding simultaneously. Suppose on the contrary these two are holding simultaneously. Now x is positive, y is positive, x square is positive, y square is positive, x plus y whole square is positive, x plus y is positive. So you can multiply this inequality by 1 upon xy, x plus y whole square, sorry, x square y square, here x square y square, sorry, 1 upon x square y square, and this by 1 upon y square x plus y square. Multiply first inequality by x square y square and the second by y square x square plus y square. So what you will get here, the sign will not be changed because the number with which you are multiplying is a positive number. So you will get here under root 5, also multiply by under root 5. Let us get rid of root 5 also. So what you will get here root 5 xy is greater than or equal to this root 5. So you multiply root 5 in the numerator instead of denominator. So multiply by root 5 here, so that this root 5 will be eliminated. So here you will get x square plus y square, and from the second inequality you will get root 5 y x plus y is greater than or equal to, here you will get x plus y whole square plus y square. Let me check one of the steps that is required here. Okay, so what we are going to get from these two now add these two. Adding these two inequalities, you will get, I am writing the right hand side first, so it will be y square x square plus y square plus x plus y whole square plus y square minus root 5 xy minus root 5 xy minus root 5 y square is less than or equal to 0. Adding these two inequalities, and now open these brackets also. Opening this bracket especially, you will get x square plus y square plus 2xy, and now collect the terms. Collecting the terms, you will get x square plus x square, so it is 2x square. It is 2x square. How many xy are there? 2xy and minus 2 root 5 xy. So plus 2 minus 2 you can take out common, 2, 1 minus root 5 xy. So these terms are being taken. What you are left with? Y square, y square, y square minus root 5 y square. So you will get plus 3 minus root 5 y square is less than or equal to 0. And once again multiply by 2. So multiplying by 2, this 2x square will become 4x square. Here you will get 2 into this, and here you will get 1 2 extra. if you look at this inequality closely, you will get 2x whole square plus 2 into 2x into 1 minus root 5 y plus 1 minus root 5 y square is less than or equal to 0. And that means 2x plus 1 minus root 5 y whole square is less than or equal to 0. Now left hand side is a perfect square, and we know that a perfect square cannot be negative, cannot be less than 0. So less than or equal to 0 means definitely it will be equal to 0. And if square of a number is 0, that means the number itself must be 0. So that means this number must be 0. From here, if you get the value of x upon y, the value of x upon y will be root 5 minus 1 upon 2, which is a contradiction. Why? Because x upon y is a rational number, as x and y are positive integers, and on the right hand side you are having an irrational number. A rational number is equal to an irrational number is not possible. So you are having a contradiction. And why this contradiction is there? Because we have supposed that these two inequalities can hold simultaneously. That means we have proved that these two inequalities cannot hold simultaneously. So this was a lemma that will be required when we will prove Hurwitz's theorem. And now we are moving on to Hurwitz's theorem. And if we successfully can prove that, that means we are going to end the chapter of higher fractions here. In the next video we will have some other chapter. So let us start with Hurwitz's theorem, which is the very important theorem of the chapter of higher fractions. This Hurwitz's theorem says that given any irrational number, xi, there exist infinitely many rational numbers h by k such that xi minus h by k mod is less than 1 upon root 5 k square. There exist infinitely many rational numbers h upon k that satisfy xi minus h upon k mod is less than or equal to, is strictly less than 1 upon root 5 k square. And let us see how to prove it. The proof is a little bit lengthy but is not difficult, as we have proved two lemmas that will be required in proving this Hurwitz's theorem. So I am going to start proof of Hurwitz's theorem. Let this number xi dash be xi minus greatest integer, or you can say integral part of xi. So definitely this xi dash is a fraction, and it will be greater than or equal to 0, or it will be less than 1. And now, instead of proving this theorem for xi, we will prove the theorem for xi dash. Because if you have proved the theorem for xi dash, then you are what to do? Just add integral part of xi and subtract integral part of xi. So what this will be? This will be your xi, and this number will be another rational number required. So that means it is sufficient to prove the theorem for xi dash in place of xi. So rename xi dash as xi. So rename xi dash as xi, and now we will prove theorem for this xi, which is a fraction which lies between 0 and 1, which may be equal to 0 but is strictly less than 1. So here is your 0, here is your 1, and here you are having your xi. So definitely it is a fraction, and every fraction lies between two consecutive parifractions of some order. So there exist parifractions, a by b, c by d, or you can say consecutive. There exist consecutive parifractions a by b, c by d belonging to f, and that means of order n, such that your xi lies between these two, a upon b and c upon d. So such that a upon b is less than xi is less than c upon d, and it is strict inequality because your xi is irrational, a upon b and c upon d are rational. Further, we know that a upon b is less than or equal to a plus b upon c plus d is less than or equal to c plus c upon d. This we know. Now this is a rational number lying between these two. This is an irrational number lying between these two. So here you are having xi. This is your a upon b. This is your c upon d. Now what about this number a plus b upon c plus d? It may be in this region. It may be in this region. That means your a plus b upon c plus d may be here, may be here. So without loss of generality, we take either here or here and we will prove. The other part will be supposed to be proved on the same lines. So without loss of generality, let a upon b be less than or equal to a plus b upon c plus d is less than xi is less than c upon d. So I have taken a plus b upon c plus d in this region. You may take in this region and you can prove the theorem on the same lines which I am going to use. Now this is being given. If possible, we have to show that actually this inequality is satisfied for infinitely many rational numbers. And what I will show that this inequality is satisfied either by this number or by this number or by this number. Here in this case. In the other case, I will take this number and this numbers. So for the present case, I am taking these three. So suppose we are actually to prove that this inequality is true for infinitely many rational numbers, and we will prove that this inequality is true for one of these three numbers. On the contrary, suppose that the inequality is not true for any of the three numbers. Suppose if the inequality is not true for these three numbers, what will happen? This inequality will take the form xi minus a upon b is greater than or equal to 1 upon root 5 b square, xi minus a plus b upon c plus d is greater than or equal to 1 upon under root 5 c plus d square, and xi minus c upon d is also greater than or equal to 1 upon root 5 d square. I suppose that inequality is not true for this, not true for this, and not true for this, and we will arrive at some contradiction that will show that inequality is true for at least one of these three numbers. So if we are able to find one of the rational numbers for which the inequality is true, then we will show that there are infinitely many rational numbers, and that part I have not proved, as the proof of that part is very much similar to the first theorem today we have proved. So I will prove only that there is at least one rational number which satisfies this inequality. We have supposed that this is not true for these three. The inequality is not true for these three numbers, and we will arrive at some contradiction. And let us see how the procedure will go on. So let us start with now. Here you are having this. Now we want to have, we are having these three inequalities. Note that if we add 1 and 2 and 1 and 3, this is your 1, this is your 2, this is your 3. From 1 and 2, your mod of a plus b upon c plus d minus a upon b, you can write it as equal to a plus b upon c plus d minus xi plus xi minus a upon b, and it is less than or equal to xi minus a plus b upon c plus d plus mod of xi minus a upon b. And now this is going to be greater than or equal to this inequality. Let me see. I'm having some problem here. Let me see what the problem I'm getting here. Let me see, and then I'll check where I'm getting the problem. These three are there. Adding the inequalities in. Okay. Sorry, I'm just rubbing these three. I'm drawing the number line again. Here it is a upon b, here it is c upon d, here it is xi, and here I have taken a plus c upon b plus d. Now mod of xi minus a plus b. Xi minus a plus b is a positive number, so no mod is required because it is a positive number. Xi minus a plus b upon c plus d. Xi minus this is once again a positive number, so no need to have this also. And for the third one, now you are having xi minus c upon d, so it is negative, so sign will be changed. So here you will have c upon d minus xi, and now it seems to be comparatively easy. You now actually want to delete xi from here, so add these two and then add these two. Adding these two, you will get c by d minus a by b is greater than or equal to. On the other side, you will get 1 upon root 5, 1 upon b square plus 1 upon d square. And adding these two, you will get c by d minus a plus b upon c plus d is greater than or equal to, and adding on the other side you will get 1 upon root 5, 1 upon c plus d square plus 1 upon d square. And this inequality, now look at these two, take LCM here. Taking LCM here, you will get BC minus AD upon BD. Similarly, taking LCM, you will get here C plus D, C minus A plus B, D upon D into C plus D. Here you will get minus sign. BC minus AD is 1 because A upon B and C upon D were consecutive fractions. So this is 1. And similarly, if you will solve it, you will get numerator as once again. So here you will get 1 upon D C plus D. And now use the lemma that we just have proved before this Hurwitz theorem, that these two inequalities cannot hold simultaneously. That means we are at a step which is a contradiction, which contradicts our previous lemma. So that means this is not possible. And why this is not possible? Because our supposition was wrong. We have supposed that this inequality is not satisfied by a upon b, c upon d, as well as a plus c upon b plus d. So we are at a step of contradiction. Our supposition was wrong. That means this inequality is satisfied for at least one of a upon b, c upon d, and a plus c upon b plus d. So that means there exists a rational number. There exists a rational number which satisfies this inequality, and in fact a Faraday fraction that satisfies this inequality. And now to prove there are infinitely many, I have told you that the first theorem we proved today on the same lines by taking that, suppose if possible these rational numbers are finite, then they will have a finite set, and from that finite set you will take the smallest member, and in the smallest member one of the number is rational, another is irrational, it cannot be 0. You can take n to be sufficiently large such that 1 upon n plus 1 is less than that number, and so on. You can prove on the same lines. You will once again get a contradiction, and it will show that such rational numbers are infinitely many. So that means there are infinitely many rational numbers that satisfy xi minus h by k is less than 1 upon root 5 k square for given irrational number xi, and that is the proof of the Hurwitz theorem. And here I am going to end this video. In the next video we will have some other chapter of number theory. Till then, thank you once again.